This is home. Fox 23 News at 9 starts right now.
In Mississippi, hospitals are seeing a growing number of pediatric COVID patients. More than a dozen children are hospitalized in Jackson with the virus. Reporter Quintus Jones has reaction from Governor Reeves. Quintus, what did the governor have to say today?
Hey, Jennifer, the governor says the kids still need to be in the classroom. As you know, this Omicron variant is relentless, although data shows that kids are less likely to become severely ill. But even still, health officials are still concerned about growing pediatric cases. At last check, there were 17 children in the hospital at the University of Mississippi Medical Center in Jackson, 4 of them in the ICU. This is very concerning for health officials since kids are back in the classroom. Doctors are also worried because many children who contract the virus end up with what's called multi-system inflammatory syndrome. This is a condition where organs in the body become inflamed. Some kids develop rashes, high fever, and stomach pain, just to name a few. We caught up with the governor today to get his take on all of this.
We have seen over the last 2 years is that one of the safest places that kids can be is in the classroom. We know that there are risks associated with COVID, but we also know there are huge risks associated with kids not being in the classroom.
And we're also hearing the Omicron variant is now the dominant strain in Mississippi, accounting for just over 60% of cases. Quintus Jones, Fox 23 News, Hattiesburg.
COVID-19 cases in the state continue to rise. The Mississippi Department of Health is reporting 7,079 new cases and 8 new deaths. These deaths occurred between December 29th and January 5th. The state's total number of cases since the beginning of the pandemic is now at 579,773 cases and 10,511 deaths. There are currently 265 ongoing outbreaks of COVID-19 in long-term care facilities. Travel troubles continue for thousands around the country, and forecasted winter storms may only make things worse. Casey Stiegel has more from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport.
Travel troubles across the country just not letting up. For nearly 2 weeks now, airlines have been plagued by staffing shortages due to COVID-19 and also winter weather conditions. All of this started during the Christmas holiday, with nearly 20,000 flights canceled nationwide since Christmas Eve.
We actually have no idea how long we're going to be here for, but right now our flight, yes, it was canceled.
While still high, the number of flight cancellation travelers are seeing is on the decline. On Monday, more than 3,000 flights were grounded. By Wednesday, that number had dropped to about 1,700. But now, as another storm makes its way across the Midwest, airports are preparing to battle yet another round of snow and ice.
It's just an unthinkable situation.
Meantime, the CDC is warning against cruise travel, regardless of vaccination status. This is due to the surge of COVID cases in the country fueled by the Omicron variant. However, some passengers are still taking the chance.
I'm sure there are some people who are still worried, but you just have to make your decision for you and your family.
This as the Norwegian Pearl cruise liner cut a 7-day cruise short due to staff members testing positive for the virus.
We took a chance. We threw the dice. We didn't win, but we did have a nice 3 days at sea.
Airlines urging travelers to build in extra time. Also, check with your carrier before you head to the airport. That's the latest from DFW International. Casey Stiegel, Fox News.
A Jones County man is behind bars tonight on drug charges. Authorities say 59-year-old James Myrick was arrested after a search warrant at a home on Claiborne Road. That's where agents found meth, digital scales, and other drug paraphernalia. Myrick is charged with possession of methamphetamine with intent to distribute. It's been 1 year since the deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol. Madeline Rivera is in Washington with more on how the president is marking the moment.
This isn't about being bogged down in the past. It's about making sure the past isn't buried.
From inside Statuary Hall, President Biden marked 1 year since the deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol, reflecting on the destruction.
A mob breaking windows, kicking in doors, breaching the Capitol,
as well as the heroism.
Our democracy held. We, the people, endured.
The president also took aim at his predecessor, former President Trump.
For the first time in our history, a president had not just lost an election, he tried to prevent the peaceful transfer of power.
Trump fired back in a statement calling the speech political theater and just a distraction for the fact Biden has completely and totally failed. But the president urged the nation to focus on the future.
We have to be firm, resolute, and unyielding in our defense of the right to vote and to have that vote counted.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi followed up from the House floor.
As I conclude, I want to acknowledge our fallen heroes of that day. Now I ask all members to rise for a moment of silence in their memory.
A young California sheriff's recruit is shot and killed. His death, the latest in a string of deadly Bay Area freeway shootings. Henry Lee has the story.
Alameda County Sheriff's recruit David Wynn is the latest victim of a deadly Bay Area freeway shooting that officials called senseless.
I just don't understand why people would choose to fire a weapon probably over nothing.
Before dawn, fellow deputies in training raised flags to half-staff at the Sheriff's Academy in Dublin, which is now on hold.
It's definitely not an easy day for our recruits here today, and all the classes that they were going to go through have been canceled.
Wynn was in his personal vehicle, a Prius, and headed for home in San Francisco from the academy. He was on an approach to the Bay Bridge in Oakland when he was shot at about 4:30 Tuesday afternoon.
A bullet that penetrated the right front window. And the bullet then struck the driver, which led to the crash.
Wynn died at Highland Hospital in Oakland. Deputies and CHP officers saluted outside the hospital as his flag-draped casket was placed into a coroner's van. Wynn's sister and girlfriend and Sheriff Greg Ahern walked behind it. The CHP is investigating. A motive isn't known, but officials don't think it's related to his law enforcement training.
As of right now, there's nothing that we believe that came from this academy that led to this murder.
Wynn was just 4 weeks shy of graduating from the academy after months of grueling physical training and academic coursework.
To get one of these seats is very difficult, and you have to live your life a certain way, and it's not easy.
Wynn was popular among classmates and had hoped to serve the community.
This guy is a very well-liked young man in his class, and highly motivated.
I'm just angry. I mean, I'm not too sure what I'm angry about. I'm not sure who I'm angry at. I'm just angry.
The Reverend Jason Landeza is a law enforcement chaplain who says he doesn't get rattled easily.
I just, I like to think this somehow would all end, but it's not. I don't know what's going to take it to end.
Grief counselors have been here at the Dublin Academy to help David Wynn's classmates as they mourn. Anyone with information about the shooting is asked to call the CHP.